The man with an opinion on all things sports. This is The Meltdown with Vince Thompson.
Welcome back to The Meltdown. I'm Vince Thompson, founder, chair, and CEO of Melt. And we got a fun meltdown this week. All things Super Bowl. So don't forget, follow me at Vinny Inc. Hit me up, Twitter, LinkedIn, Insta, Facebook. We got great special guests today. My dear friend Steve Chamberlain actually slept on his couch when I first moved over here. We'll talk about that in the next book. And Jake Crane from the J-Boy Show, who's going to be posting up the world headquarters at Melt. So before we hop into all things Super Bowl, welcome to the 27th Meltdown. We got a fun breakdown this week. My boy Kyle been trying to challenge me on NFL trivia, which I obviously smoked him. But before we get into that, Vinny Damas, who called it, NCAA is back. Just the tip of the iceberg on NIL. And a lot more coming up on NIL soon from yours truly. And wittingly or unwittingly, EA started this avalanche. The O'Bannon lawsuit. EA, CLC, my friends, NCAA, using these players' images and likeness in the games without consent, commission, royalties, permission. That cleared the way. Obviously, we know what's going on now. The Alston case before the Supreme Court, NIL in Congress, NCAA acquiescence, as well as state legislatures. Don't forget, July 1, Florida, this kicks off. So stay tuned for more soon breaking news on NIL. The first Super Bowl was actually not called the Super Bowl. Packers beat the Chiefs 35-10. My dear friend, rest his soul, Bart Starr, was the MVP of the first Super Bowl over the Kansas City Chiefs. Coach Lombardi won 1 and 2, previously held 5 rings from NFL championships, and then the merger of the nascent AFL into the NFL created what we know today as the Super Bowl. It was officially called the AFL-NFL championship game. Commissioner Rozelle, one of my all-time heroes, visionary of the NFL, had ideas like the big one or the Pro Bowl. Ironically, Chiefs owner Lamar Hunt, who the the AFL trophy is named after, the Hunt Trophy. The Chiefs are in the Super Bowl this year. He had the idea from his kids playing a play toy called Super Ball. And then it evolved into the Super Bowl, which we now know today, probably other than the Olympics and the World Cup, is the greatest and highestly viewed and wagered sporting event on the planet. In 1990, the Rozelle Trophy was created for the Super Bowl MVP. Commissioner Rozelle passed in 1996. Just an iconic figure continues to have an impact on the game today. One of the true first with Bill Veeck and probably P.T. Barnum and some of those guys, just massive promoters. Taking it way back, Lenny Dawson, quarterback, Kansas City Chiefs, in the locker room at half, his hydration and performance boosting was a Marlboro and a tab. Believe it or not. I want to get that photograph one day, and if Len Dawson's still alive, I want to get it on my wall. But maybe we ought to do some throwbacks. Maybe we'll do some vaping and some Juul ads in the Super Bowl next year. Do some halftime. No, don't hold me to that. So anyway, continues to pick up steam. What was the first big break? Broadway Joe guaranteed a victory against the Baltimore Colts, and he pulled it off, which obviously led to the famous Legs Haynes commercial and pretty much put the Super Bowl in the spotlight. Believe it or not, a 30-second ad at that time, $55,000. This year, $5.6 million. Great quarterbacks. Obviously, this is where you're measured. Jim Kelly, great quarterback, 0 for 4 in the Super Bowls. Fran Tarkenton, great quarterback, lost the Super Bowls. Here's where the rubber meets the road. Obviously, the GOAT, Brady. And Eli, think about it, cost him 2 more. The GOAT would be 8-0. It's going to be fascinating this year. Montana, Bradshaw, and obviously Eli and Nick Foles in the Philly special. And but then obviously think about the Seattle Seahawks, Malcolm Butler, the interception, which did lead to one of the Patriots. So the question begs: is Brady the GOAT? Did like the chicken or the egg? Did Brady beget Belichick, or did Belichick beget Brady? And I think it's going to be one of the greatest sports debates of all time. But don't count Belichick out. In my opinion, the greatest ever, Super Bowl III, 13, Terry Bradshaw. We really won't talk about Super Bowl 51. Falcons 28-3, third quarter, popping the champagne on the sideline. I told my son Stefan at that moment, I'm like, we're doomed. Doesn't feel good. And, Kyle Shanahan all of a sudden turns his headset off and puts his hands in his pocket, and something happened there. 42, David Tyree helmet catch. Obviously, the Malcolm Butler pick. Lynn Swann, tremendous catches. Jake Scott, my man, Super Bowl MVP, Dolphins versus the Redskins in their undefeated season. So many moments. The Ice Bowl here in 2000 where the town got shut down. Vinatieri 3 times. Jim O'Brien, heartbreaker. The Buffalo Bills, wide right. I mean, we go on and on and on and on. And I think it could come down to that this year as well. National anthem, the over and under this year on length of time is 1 minute and 58 seconds. I'm betting the over. That's where I'm going, the over. But many famous singers and flubs of all time, no doubt. And obviously the halftime show this year, The Weeknd. Pepsi's putting all their money in for that show. Weeknd put $7 million of his own. It's actually brilliant. 24-minute infomercial instead of 30-second incremental spots. But who can forget Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson and the wardrobe malfunction, which led to a 7-second delay in all future broadcasts. My dear friends at CBS were working on that at that time. My favorite, I was there at the 07 Super Bowl with the Rolling Stones at halftime. We were in Detroit. That was pretty incredible. And it's pretty incredible how they do it. And then my son was in the pit for the Super Bowl here in Atlanta 3 or 4 years ago. But it's to do a world-class concert production within about 12 minutes, a lot of expertise at that level. Fun facts, get ready for a bloated, hungover Monday morning. Not going to be a lot of email and Zoom traction and traffic next Monday. Why? The bet, you're going to be losing a lot of money at some point. 12.5 million pizzas. You better get your order in. 1.5 billion wings, and over 300 million gallons of beer. We don't even know about the Coca-Cola and the Jack. Probably a lot of that as well. And as we said, a 30-second spot, 5.6 million. Who can forget the commercials? The most famous favorite commercial of all time, Mean Joe Green and Coke and the jersey. And as creative people and as ad people and even as a fan, every agency and brand in the world has always strived to replicate that commercial. I had the opportunity to meet Mean Joe Green at an event at Coca-Cola 3 or 4 years ago. And just a sweet soul. He lives in Texas. And he told me, ironically, he's more famous for that commercial than he is this Hall of Fame career for the Iron Curtain in Pittsburgh. So obviously the Apple 1984 commercial rang a lot of bell. The Clydesdales will not be making an appearance this year, with the exception of a Sam Adams ad. But who can forget some of these most poignant Clydesdale commercials? But kudos to Coca-Cola and Mean Joe Green. In conclusion, what's the Damas's prediction? Kansas City 31-28. They don't cover. They hit the over. Tyreek Hill's going to be my guy. But again, who can count out the GOAT on his home field in Tampa Bay going for the 7th? So it's great fun. That's why, as we talked about last week, the NFL will command $100 billion in new rights fees. That's why legal wagering sweeping the country, fantasy sports, it's still NFL, still the greatest gathering in the age of cord cutting and streaming of live eyeballs on the planet. And that's why we love to talk about it. And obviously I think it's going to be fun. And so we're going to see what happens. That's it for this week's Meltdown. I'm Vince Thompson, founder, chairman, CEO of Melt. And don't forget, selling like hotcakes on Amazon.com. Bill, brand new. We appreciate all the comments, feedback, and the love. And we'll see you this time next week, just not on Monday, post wings and pizza and beer. That's it for this week's Meltdown. We'll see you next week.
You've just listened to The Meltdown. Remember to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at MeltATL and follow Vince at Vinny Inc. and on LinkedIn as Vince Thompson.